My name is Ian Walsh. This is the Moment Money Matters, Hard Money Bankers. Joined today with Nathan. Nathan, how do you say your last name properly?
Nathan Krauthamer.
It is Krauthamer. I always say that. I'm like, I hope I'm saying it right. So for everybody that is watching this on my Facebook, they've probably seen this guy make funny jokes. Probably the funniest guy. Top three funniest guys. George is gonna say he's number one. You'll say you're number two, or you'll say you're number one. I'll let you guys fight it out. But Nathan's a funny dude, entertaining as hell. I literally I mean, you guys probably saw it. If any of you saw his Jerry Springer video with his HMB hoodie, it was ridiculous. But so he's a funny guy, but he's also really smart and really good at real estate investing. He's not putting on a show. He doesn't care. He is maximum efficiency at all times in terms of he's like, I don't want to do that because that doesn't make sense. I'm not going to make money doing that, or I'm not going to, or I am going to do that because I am going to make money. A lot of people get very emotionally involved. You definitely don't seem like you're the guy that gets all emotionally attached to your properties, right? So I thank you. I thank you for coming on today, honestly, because I know you don't do these.
Thanks for having me. Thanks for having me, Ian.
Yeah, man. So you're enjoyable company, and feel free to crack any jokes at me. Whatever you say, I'm sure it's going to be entertaining. But I did want to talk to everybody about today. You have about leased up about 150 units. You own all yourself currently. You're in a big project right now in that we're just saying in the Frankfurt Lehigh area, in Philadelphia, crossroads of Frankfurt Lehigh, big warehouse project. You're leasing out to 50-unit building to commercial space. It's a different world for a lot of people that, a lot of people want to know how to get in that space. A lot of people, how do I get to 150 units? That's a lot for one person self-managing. So I guess give some background. I know you actually used to play poker professionally, correct?
I wouldn't say professionally, but I did pretty good at it. I started out with like $500, and I just kept winning and winning. Like I didn't realize that I was good, except I just kept winning. And I had a nice little run. I mean, I played for a couple of years a lot, but I made some money. I did well online on party poker, but those were my younger days when I was like maybe 25. It was probably 11 years ago when the economy was booming and everybody had these credit cards and home equity loans that they didn't know what to do with, and people would jump into the game with like, $10,000, and it was a guarantee that they were going to lose it because they had no idea what they were doing.
That's crazy, man. So you've always had a good way around like making money. So, what got you into real estate? And let me ask this. Let's do this first video. We're going to talk about self-management, right? So most people don't know. They don't manage their property right. They run into an issue like, I can't evict a tenant. I can't do this. In order to get to 150 units, you've got some pretty disciplined thoughts in the way you react with your properties. Like you can't get to that point without crashing, without having like, this is how I roll, this is how it's going to work. So talk about how you go from 0 to 10 or 0 to 100 units, and then what do you do? Like, what do you do that most people probably don't?
All right, so I started off, when I was 21, I was buying maybe about 3 houses a year from when I was 21 until 24. So you figure I might have had I might have bought around 10 houses in a 3 or 4 year period. And I was buying it, I was fixing it up, I was refinancing it at about, if I buy something for like 40,000, I might put 10 into it, I'll be in it for 50, and then it'll appraise for 80. And then I'll refi it at 70% LTV, get my money back, do it again. So that was how I started, and I was obviously doing all the management on my own at the time. I was really involved with tenants, with signing leases, with screening the tenants. I started out doing student rentals at Widener, actually. That was my thing.
No way, really?
Yeah.
The world.
And my first house that I had was my first unit I rented was the only eviction I've ever filed really on a college house.
Oh, no way. Your very first one?
First one, yeah. And I've rented to hundreds of groups of kids. And the first one I rented to some buddies of mine. I guess that's a good lesson. I rented to some soccer friends, and one of the guys was taking the other people's money, and they weren't paying the rent.
Oh, nice.
So I got off to a bad start.
So what do you do now? Like, how does your operation run now? You got 150 units. How do you do it, man? Like, how do you deal with your evictions, your leases, your repairs? Your problems come up, right? It's not all peaches and cream all the time. How do you deal with that stuff?
I was doing it all on my own before I had kids and got married. And I was probably working like 80 hours a week, and I was dealing with evictions, like leasing. Sometimes I had one of my maintenance guys show some units, but I was doing evictions, leasing, dealing with all the landlord tenant issues, and it was kind of crazy. I realized that I was making maybe like $15 an hour, for 60 hours a week,
Right,
and then
right,
for
right.
the other 20 hours a week, I was making a lot of money. So once I got married and had kids, I mean, I have twins that are 3 and a 1 year old. I was like, I can't keep doing this. So, like 4 years ago, I started to get a lot more help. So now I have, one person that just does office work, paying bills, dealing with mail, scanning mail, just organizational stuff. And then I have one person in the field that just deals with leasing, tenant problems, evictions. I got like 7 years ago, I got a maintenance number, like a 1-800 number that's 24/7. That helps a lot. So all of our tenants, if they have a maintenance request, they have to call our maintenance line,
Okay.
and their phone numbers change a lot. It's hard to keep track of their numbers. So they call the maintenance line. Now we have their new number. They say where they live, they say their problem, and then all of us get an email sent to us. Uh,
Gotcha. What do you do now for like what's your involvement level now at 150 units? Like what's your day to day
not that
involvement?
involved at all in terms of, I mean, I should be a little more involved, but I'm not. I mean, like, Steve and Danielle do a great job running these things, and our maintenance guys do well. So now, I mean, it's kind of sad to say, but I probably spend like an hour every week on it.
Wow, that's crazy, man. So if
I
you're busy,
should be
almost no joke.
I should be spending like 3 hours a week or
Yeah,
4 hours.
okay, I got you. You're
And
really
they get
cutting
on me.
back.
They're like, Nathan, I'm like, what's going on? So sometimes I'll like look on QuickBooks and see like who we need to file evictions on, and but we need to have more team meetings. We don't have as many as we should. But I mean, they do a great job, holding their end of the deal. Most of my time, I think, is put towards like new business. I'd say, like, buying new properties, dealing with, finding new deals or evaluating deals. And then I guess that's one of the beauties about real estate, is that it's easy to run rentals. It's not like really complex, complicated work. There's some industries that, like, you have to be super involved, because it's really like high whatever you call it stuff, where it's like, if you're an engineer or you're a lawyer, if you're a lawyer, like, you need to be working on this stuff.
Right.
But if you're a landlord, it's all like, $10-20 an hour work.
Right. All of it. That's right. And so at what point, like when you were going through, like you said you had a moment where you're doing like 80 hours a week and some of those hours just didn't have the value they should to what you wanted to have. Like, at what number of units did it start to change in the way you manage? Because when we started, like I had originally built Atlas property, and I was the same way. We were managing for third party, but like everything, I was doing the evictions, the leases, everything, everything. There's a moment though when it changes, whether it's you take on a little bit of staff, you have a realization. Like, when did that happen through your growth?
Well, I bought like a 36 unit building that I sold maybe 3 years ago. But when I bought that, um, I got the 1-800 number for maintenance, and that was a really big change. I like, all of a sudden nobody could call my phone anymore for maintenance. I got a second phone for leasing.
Mm.
So that was maybe 6 years ago.
Okay.
So I got a leasing phone, I got the maintenance number, and then it kind of just changed. Then it was no more like texting Nathan's personal phone,
Yeah. So
and then
you found like little tweaks operationally internally that just made your life easier, which had huge impacts, right? From the craziness or the headaches, literally just a couple phone numbers changed a lot of things for you.
yeah, I'd say, and then I mean, having good maintenance guys is pretty important. I mean, like, you're always gonna get like the bad phone calls. Like, it happens every day. So I don't really stress out over it, because I know, hopefully nobody got hurt. But like, I'm always gonna get like the ceiling fell in, the roof's leaking, the
Right.
house got broken into, the sewer lines clogged up, like the basement's got, half a foot of sewage in it. Like, I mean, the list goes on, and it happens every day,
Right.
pretty much like a couple days a week. Um, so I've learned to not get upset about it, and I've kind of planned for it, because like, I always have like a $2,000 problem or a $3,000 problem, and it's kind of just like constant. I mean, you could go crazy if you get really stressed out over those things, because they're going to happen. I mean, like fires. I mean, it's just always something.
Yeah, so that's important. I think I always tell people too. People talk about like people get all blinded by real estate investing and this and that. I want to be a landlord. It's like, look, like you got to know first your stomach for the game. Like, are you built for this, right? Because like you're built for it. You're just like, I anticipate it, I understand it. I'm not emotionally attached. It's not my, people that get really worked up easily. It's not being a landlord. It's not for you because it's just like exactly what you said multiple times a week. It's coming. The call is coming. Like you're not gonna avoid it. You're not gonna have this beautiful month where nothing happens, and then next, like it doesn't work like that. You're always gonna have calls. You're always gonna have problems, and if you're not okay with dealing with it, I've learned that those are the people that shouldn't be in this business because it breaks them. Like right, you get that like grizzled landlord, but you just kind of make a mental decision. Clearly, you've made the mental decision. Like I'm just anticipating. I know what I know what's going on. I'm not gonna get worked up. Just take the call and move on with it. Right. I mean, that's how it is.
Yeah, it's definitely I'd say the worst part of being a landlord is just dealing with big problems that happen, and dealing with like bad tenants.
Sure.
Um, but I mean, I did it for a lot of years. Now, like Steve does most of it. I help him with a little bit of it, but like it was the thing that I liked the least from when I was 21 until when I was, probably like 32, like 4 or 5 years ago.
So you had to, your skin got thick during that time, and that's what it did, right? You just that velvet hammer didn't break
Yeah.
you. That's what happened to you.
Still like doing it. I mean, luckily I have help doing it now because I really didn't like it. But we do it in house. Like, getting a management company is great, but I like being a little bit involved, and I like having like my team do it instead of just passing everything to a management company.
Sure,
Um, I've thought about it before, but I've never really, and I've never really gotten good enough to start my own management company to manage other people's units.
sure.
We've considered doing it, but it's like I don't think we have it down good enough to manage like 2,000 units. I mean, I think it'll affect the way we run our rentals if we're running, 1,800 for other people.
Yeah, it's. I mean, I know that from a lot of experiences that it's a different beast, and I wouldn't wish that upon anyone. And you really, there's certain benchmarks you got to get to as operational. I mean, like the TCS office here, fantastic third-party management company. They got 20 or 30 people on staff. Like that's a whole nother ball game to jump into. Um, and then the other thing you look at too is like the cost of third party management. It's very efficient for some people. So a guy like you probably doesn't work because you understand what you can handle, what you can't handle. Most people that are like, I don't want anything to do with this, third party management is good for them. But at the end of the day, you're getting paid less than a cell phone bill a month to manage those headaches, right? It's like 60 bucks a
Okay.
month, 80 bucks a month. So you got to do a lot of volume to get it into a position where it's starting to really generate money and you have the staff, the infrastructure, the resources to handle it. So that's what I wanted to talk to you today about. It was so the self-management stuff's interesting. You have a good way of just like simplifying it because a lot of people tend to overcomplicate it, right? It's just you have a very direct approach to it. So what I want to talk about in the next video, and we'll get into it, is some of the just like the secrets and tips and pitfalls that people can avoid when they're trying to escalate to your level. And I also want to, so I want to talk about something else. You have coming up so you built a warehouse. Exactly where is it? Where's that warehouse that you just built?
It's on the 2900 block of Jasper Street, so it's like 3 blocks north of Frankfurt and Lehigh.
Okay.
Um,
Where you guys are leasing it up now, and you have a grand opening coming. It's a huge warehouse. You guys cut out 52 units. It's going to be like a hip space for like retail. Uh,
Yeah, it turned out great. I mean, it's all mostly creative tenants, and we have some real estate offices, a lot of photographers, some clothing designers. But yeah, our grand opening, I guess, is I think it's January 26th in the afternoon. It should be a pretty fun event. I guess if anybody wants to go, they're welcome to join us. I mean, the building turned out really amazing, and we're gonna have good food, some booze. Yeah, January 26th to 4:30.
January 26th at 4:30. And if people want to reach out to you to find out how to come, how would they? What would be the easiest way to get a hold of you?
Shoot me an email, Nathan at ahomerentals with an S at the end.com. So again, that's Nathan at ahomerentals.com.
Perfect. And if you got a
Or
deal,
shoot me a text. I mean, I guess you could text me 301-254-9856.
oh
Same,
man,
same number since I was like 15.
you just put his personal number out there, everybody.
Yeah,
You
I'm
know what
making my tenants. I'm making my tenants pay long distance to call me. That doesn't really work anymore, but it worked. It worked like 10 years ago.
Is that really why you had that number, or is that just by
No, I just
default?
kept it, and that was my number growing up, and I just kept it. But but it was a problem for tenants like 12 years ago.
That's perfect. So, so you guys know me, Ian at Harmony Bankers. We'll come back on the next one talking about how Nathan grew from 0 to 150 properties and some of the secrets and pitfalls to avoid. So, thank you for being on, Nathan. We'll jump on the next
Thanks,
one.
Ian.